But I hear so far very good feedback for Geneva Watch Days. Yeah.
The feedbacks are good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in general, I think it is. I mean, everyone has been pretty excited with the event itself.
Yes.
I think the event. I think everyone was so pleased to get together and just have a little bit of non-virtual life, like something physical. But what else did you hear? It's interesting. I didn't yet. I was really. I'm like. I've been really in a tunnel over the last couple of days, so I didn't hear.
From the brand perspective, from the journalist perspective, and even from the client perspective, I think people were just really happy to actually have some physical proximity to one another, to actually be able to engage, discuss watches, and actually hold them in their hands. And what's interesting, maybe this is before we move into the watches. One of the first things we could discuss was something we talked about in our last Zoom, which was how is 2020 going to shape the taste of people and the perspective of people when they approach watches, right? And I think one of the things that you see really rapidly emerging already is that people are super interested in complicated watches, really interesting watches with creativity, but they have to be watches in a way that are a little bit stealthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in this regard, the Infinity collection that you did, and in particular embodied by the incredible Infinity Cosmos, I think is a perfect representative of this. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, first of all, I cannot hear you very well. I don't know if it's our loudspeaker. It's Max? Okay, that's fine. Don't worry.
Can you hear me now?
It's slightly better. It's slightly better. I think it's probably on our end, but don't worry. Hey, first of all, thank you so much for the article. Really, that was stunning. Both in a content and the presentation. I think the whole article. It's so qualitative, and it really puts the watchers in the best. I honestly couldn't imagine a presentation that would be better than that to display the watches. So really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Very kind of you, sir. And really, bravo on what you guys created this year. Beautiful, discreet, and creative at the same time. So excellent. Perfectly in touch with the world of today.
Exactly. Okay, so Cosmos, what do you want to talk about? Cosmos, on the novelties we have?
Yeah, why don't we start with the Cosmos? And really, I love what you guys are doing in terms of just creating these beautiful artistic representations of the history of time and how we tell time and our interaction with the planet, which incidentally is the most important message of all right now. And the fact that you have now done it with this beautiful métier d'art, including hand carved enamel globes, it's phenomenal. So maybe we can start with that, Patrick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you know, the Cosmos was launched early last year, early 2019. And this one comes at a new version. I think the Onyx suits the Cosmos extremely well. I mean, with the two globe in Onyx and the Onyx dial and the globe being unpainted. I mean, with the in pink gold. And I think it emphasizes very well the celestial time in particular. It's really pleased. We had excellent feedback here in Geneva Watch Days with the Cosmos as it is.
Wonderful. It's funny. I was watching this movie called First Man, and it's about when the first astronauts to go into space. And it's interesting because when you read up about these guys, one of the first experiences that they have is when they go into space, they suddenly realize how small and fragile our entire planet is and how unified as one planet we are as well. So I love the idea of watches that remind us of this incredibly important perspective to have. And for you to have a watch that, when you look at the Earth and you can see it rotating in 24 hours, it's as if you were in a fixed place in the sky, it really gives us that. And then at the other time, on the opposite spectrum, to have the canopy overhead and the rotation of that in, I think, 23 hours and 56 minutes, which is sort of real time. That's also just so cool.
I think when you wear the Cosmos, because of you're right. I mean, the proportion between the size of the globe and our size as human being, you can almost feel like a god. You can get the right proportion of how the planet Earth looks like.
Absolutely. And And I love the way you've implemented the technology from other watches. You know, for example, with the constant escapement, the case was one of my favorite parts of this watch. In addition to its amazing mechanism, and I love how you've taken this huge dome sapphire, and in particular these really like cool like turning keys in the back of the watch, and just made it a really intuitive way to use and set those complications.
You know, between you and me, what was interesting when we developed the Cosmos, we actually thought at some point of having a glass box that would have like two half sphere within a glass box, just to leave some space to the globes that would stand up. And then we thought, actually, no, the entire dial, I mean, not only the globes, but obviously the bridge with that neo bridge shape, needs to be revealed and emphasized, and not only the globes. Hence the way we've done the glass box. And we also played. I mean, the globes are pretty significant in terms of volume, which is good. But we played to make sure. I mean, the glass box wouldn't be so big neither. So it stands pretty well on a watch when you wear the finished watch. For an astronomical watch, it's pretty balanced.
It's killer, man. It's absolutely fantastic. And smart choice of using titanium with it as well to make it even more wearable. And again, like I like the execution last year, and I know you're going to continue last year's execution as well, which will be great. And I love the addition of some of the luminous material that you used on last year's complication, where you painted all the continents in luminous paint, the constellations, and then you have these kind of like almost shooting stars around the dial as well. But this is a different expression, but equally appealing.
Yeah, and we've noticed on the version that we launched last year an accelerated interest over the last couple of months, and it's hard to tell whether, I mean, obviously this is this type of timepieces which is for connoisseur, and they get to know more and more the product. But also, I guess, knowing that there is a new execution in black coming, it helps you understand which one fits better for you. I mean, the fact we have the case in titanium is important. We could have played a more precious material, but we believe titanium is more appropriate because it makes the watch wearable, not so heavy, which is very good. It's also, when titanium is an amazing material, but here, I think the message is very clear: the movement, the dial.
Bravo. So maybe let's go from there to another watch that's really about the movement of the dial. That is a expression of your incredible heritage, this beautiful, almost Bauhaus-like architecture of your three-bridge tourbillon, and distilled into a new watch, a little bit more accessible in price. Also with possibly the coolest oscillator I've seen in the last couple of years. Please tell us about the free bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you like the oscillator. It's great. I think so. The free bridge encapsulates all the spirit of the bridge, and really, it's part of our strategy, unchanged strategy, by the way, of making sure the bridge would stand out as an icon in the industry. Every watch collector would know and own a bridge, a straight bridge, and then the spirit of that could also be expressed on a watch which is slightly more affordable for people that want to enter into the world of Girard-Perregaux. And with the free bridge, that's what we've tried to express. That it comes in two different versions. There is the steel classic version, and you've just shown the Infinity limited edition, which is actually the one I'm wearing today. And with the Onyx dial and the Neo bridge that reveals at 6 o'clock the oscillator, and for the first time the Neo bridge is in pink gold. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's very clear, and it's dressed up in onyx on both sides. It's really here, and the picture pays tribute to that. But I really encourage all of your followers to have a look at the case by itself and see it in store. I mean, the case is both modern and very refined. We got praised here in Geneva from the client and the media who've seen the watch in real. We were praised for the design of the case. And as you know very well, when you think of a GP's history, it's expertise in manufacturing, high ROG. But if there is one thing that defines also GP is shapes. This is an iconic brand that over time has always defined its identity. So we're saying bridging aesthetics and functionality, but actually it's bridging shapes and amazing movements. And the shapes are extremely important. That's why, and in a very, I think, deep inside, and it's been the case probably since our founding father started the company, but even strongly over the last couple of decades, the shape has always been daring, but an amazing level of good taste. It's hard for me to think of any watch company with that type of history that would go into some shapes that are so characteristic and so strong in terms of personality.
Absolutely. Somebody, if you don't mind, can we just pull that picture back up for 1 second? I really like this watch a lot because the more you look at it, the more you discover. And what's really cool about it is in some ways it carries over some of the design architecture of the three bridge tourbillon movement. This is not a tourbillon. You've got one bridge kind of holding the skeletonized barrel at the top, and you've got a kind of a transverse bridge in the center, which is I can see is attached to the dial, but it's actually kind of supporting the cannon pinion as well. And then of course you've got your signature neo bridge on the bottom holding this incredible balance wheel, which if I'm not mistaken, I think is made from silicon. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, that's right. Correct.
Incredible. And I know that you guys have ownership, the group has ownership of Sigatech, which is one of the most impressive manufacturers for highly complex silicon parts. So it's great to see that technology all coming together in one watch, but watch that's distinctively GP. So bravo.
Thanks, Wade.
And as we were talking about shape watches, let's talk a little bit about the Vintage 45, because I know that you were saying that the execution in Onyx, the Infinity collection, might possibly be your first in this shape.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. Here, there's 17 companies here in Geneva. And one of the prominent and highly respected also by me CEO of another company told me, hey, I have a collection of watches. There is one I miss, and it's the Vintage 1945. And I won't tell you who that is, but I thought, hey, this is the nicest compliment ever. This is super. And actually, the more people I meet in industry and when you go more intimate, the number of people from the watch world that do love and respect Girard-Perregaux, current product, but history in terms of timepieces is amazing. And when you think of it, there is this on one hand. I mean, that it's really a brand for people in the know, deep inside. I mean, that manufacturer that remain somehow a bit confidential. And on the air, and it's when there is this and the fact that I sometimes call internally Girard-Perregaux as like the manufacturer of the manufacturers, because we have a long history of manufacturing movement for also other very reputable companies. And when you think of it, the two makes it like, yeah, really a brand for people in the know. Anyway, 1945 vintage, amazing. Again, a very sleek, simple expression of the 1945. I think the simplicity of the dial with the Onyx dial, which was pretty hard to work on with such a shape, because as everyone would know, I mean, the 1945 has a sort of a curve shape, which makes it very unique. And here the dial reveals very clearly, I mean, the case itself. And I am really happy with the outcome. It looks absolutely stunning, extremely simple, extremely sleek.
I really love it. And what, a great combination of complications to have the moon phase and the grand dot together are a great combination.
Yeah, thank you.
And perhaps let's go from there to another vintage, this time the vintage 1966.
Yeah, 1966. So, I mean, our philosophy on the 1966, probably shape, one of the nicest classical round traditional watch in the industry. But that we on the 1966 we played also over time with some slight twists to make it contemporary. So in Earth to Sky, in the Orion, we brought some adventuring on the dial for men, and that stands out very nicely. But bringing here the Onyx, extremely good example here. I mean, with the 30 millimeters, it's a superb watch, extremely balanced. Very appropriate for ladies, and this is a lady version, obviously 30 millimeters at 11,600 Swiss francs, and the male version as well. The male version, I like it. It comes very clearly right after the Orion, and I think that's what we need to do on classical watches. There's very strong interest for classical watches for many people, but when you manufacture classical watches and then you dress them with onyx, with aventurine, you bring a different touch to a traditional watch that can be worn all the time. And this could be your everyday watch. And the 66. Thank you. This is a much better picture than what I can show you on the screen. It comes out really nicely.
Beautiful, man. The sort of effect of that dial with that material on the dial.
Yeah.
Is, wonderful depth and luminosity. I remember we had that conversation because you were thinking, should you go with Colfa enamel or should you go with onyx? And in the end, as much as I love Colfa enamel, black and Colfa enamel is super hard. You always see a little bit of porousness, whereas with the onyx, it's completely like the lake. It's the reflection is just flawless, which is great.
Correct. Now now we have to talk about our. I mean, it sounds like we only have icons when I talk to you. I mean, I can talk about the vintage 45, the 66, so that will be unfair. But probably another very strong pillar of GP, especially in the last couple of years, we've been really insisting on the Laureato. So as you know, Laureato, born in 75, who's got a couple of siblings during that period that was so creative in terms of integrated design from the 70s. And the Laureato is probably one of my point of view, the nicest. Obviously, I'm biased, but very balanced. And we decided that we would do the Infinity collection on the Laureato with an onyx dial, both for men and women, 42 millimeters and 38 for ladies. Thank you. That's actually the watch I've been wearing all week. I've been wearing this in Geneva. This is wow. This is just a simple. This is everything I think you can expect from a sport chic watch. And the onyx on a 42, it's perfect. And with the pink gold indexes brings a lot of attention, but it's subtle. It's very, very subtle, very nice, very elegant.
Well, I remember when we were discussing this watch, and I know you had shown me a picture of it on your wrist. It's interesting because these watches, as you were saying, were designed to be sports chic watches for people that had a chic lifestyle, but that they could jump into the water without or go sailing or what have you. I like this execution because it amplifies the chic dimension of it, which no one has really done with these type of watches. And the material of that you've selected, onyx, for the dial brings an additional sort of level of elegance and dressiness, so that this watch would actually look perfectly correct and also a black tie function, but even if you're just wearing it, with shorts and a polo shirt on the weekend as well. So it brings a kind of a really cool adaptability to it.
Indeed. And the great thing, I think we discussed it before, but in a Greek mythology, the onyx is supposed to transform bad energies into good ones, and it's a repellent for bad energies. I think as we're going through 2020, which is such a challenging year and so many changes for all of us, and I'm not talking about the industry, but in general, I guess we need that. Onyx is our friend. Black is a new black, and onyx is the new black, and onyx is our friend. We need more onyx.
Absolutely, sir. I totally agree with you, and that's why I wear my black shirt. I love this version as well.
Right, yeah, this version is superb, absolutely superb. The 38 millimeters diamond bezel, stunning.
Patrick, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a busy man and have many people to see over the next couple of days. But we really appreciate it. Congratulations again. You know, 2020 is a challenging year, but you launched great watches. You brought great creativity and a wonderful spirit. So thank you very much, and good continuation.
Wei, thank you very much for the invitation. Always a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you and to your audience. Really, I mean, I know how passionate they are. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.